there, friends. Welcome to Bronze Medal Moms. We aren't going for gold, we're going for bronze on the daily. I'm Amy.
And I'm Amanda, and we are here to remind you that you don't have to be perfect to show up, survive, and even thrive in motherhood. Welcome back to Bronze Medal Moms, the podcast for moms who are doing their best, even if that means showing up in a hoodie with a granola bar for dinner. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Amy, and today we're diving into a hot topic that every modern parent has probably lost sleep over, and that's kids and technology.
Oh my gosh, it's like phones, tablets, smartwatches, YouTube, TikTok. Oh my! It feels like the wild west out there. It's like a land of unknown.
I know. And there are so many opinions. Like some moms are on the far extreme, which I was at first, where it's like, no phones until high school. I mean, I can remember saying, like, can we please just get everyone in her class, all the parents on board, and we'll all agree no phones until high school? But then I've had a change of heart, and we'll talk about that later. But then there's people on the other end of the spectrum that like hand their kid a phone in kindergarten because they have after school pickup and they have to get in touch with them.
Exactly. And we are not judging either side. This is a safe space. Remember, this is like I don't remember that movie, but this is our trust tree. We're in the trust tree.
Yeah.
And I'll be totally honest and transparent. While we're recording this, two of my three kids are currently on their iPads so that it's quiet in the house. So,
Yeah.
so we all know where I stand
Yes.
on devices.
Yeah. Well, and here's where I stand. So at first, and this is similar to the episode we did, like things I said I'd never do as a parent before I became a parent. When Adelaide was younger, I was very like, no phones. They're so bad. I don't want her getting hooked on them. Like, I don't even like being on my phone half the time, and I get stuck in this.
Right.
And, even as an adult, especially you and I work mainly from our phones now. So, like,
Right.
I was very much in the like no phones till high school camp. But then I started realizing this is not the 80s and 90s. We cannot go back to that time where technology wasn't a thing. Our kids are growing up in a world where technology is it. And so I realized instead of trying to hide it from her and pretend like I can shield her from it forever, it was better for me to introduce her to it so I control the narrative and I can teach her how to live with it responsibly.
Yeah. And I think that that's the part that gets skipped a lot. It's a big deal in all the life lessons. Like learn how to adapt to the change in times responsibly and not have this like, we like our kids in a bubble, but not, everything is thrown at you at once, but learn how to adapt to it as you grow and as times change. So let me throw some stats at you because I love my stats.
I love
so
that.
I thought this was so interesting. Common Sense Media reports that by age 10, roughly 42% of children have a phone. And by age 14, it's around 91%.
Right. Like exactly, because it's not going anywhere. But,
Right.
it is kind of funny though, thinking, and I think it's harder for parents because right now, we all grew up in the 80s and 90s, and we're thinking, well, the kid can't drive a car, but they all have phones now. Like, that's insanity to me. But it's not, right? Like, that's just the world we live in. You can't do anything without a phone.
Well, they don't need a car. They can call their Uber driver from their phone.
Not without, yeah, that's right. That's right.
But now, okay, so but get this one. This one I think is so interesting. So this is according to USA Today. I don't really follow Common Sense Media, but I'm sure they're great. But USA Today, I know, and they said 40% of toddlers have their own tablet by the time they're 2 years of age. And that number increases to 58% by age 4. So, I mean, and that's the tablet, not the phone. So I feel like that's two totally
Yeah.
different things, in my opinion. I feel like that's two totally different things.
Yeah, and I get it. I think people get very it's a hot button topic because people think, oh my gosh, I gave my 2-year-old a tablet, and they take that to mean like I'm using it as a babysitter, or like I'm not teaching them how to sit at a restaurant because I'm just shoving a tablet in their face. But that may not actually be true. And I always like to assume positive intent to people, but there are a lot of really good apps for kids to learn the basics. There's great music apps. There's great like learning toddler apps. So there's some really
Yeah,
good.
you just have to make sure that the screen is locked on ABC Mouse so your shifty toddler can't bounce on over to YouTube.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of which, so I have a story back when Adelaide was like 2 or 3, and she had I mean, it wasn't her tablet, it was like the family iPad. And I was doing something in the kitchen, and she was on the couch, and she asked if she could watch some sort of video that was on YouTube. And I'm not someone who, like, I don't watch YouTube for entertainment. I watch a ton of TV, but I think I'm too old to have grown up in like the YouTube phase. Like I know a lot of people that like they have subscriptions to different people and they watch their like shows on YouTube. Anyway,
No,
um
I've never done that in my
yeah,
life.
I've never done that. But there was something she wanted to watch. I don't even know how she found out about it. I think maybe it was just like a sing-along, like Mickey Mouse something on YouTube. And I could hear it. So I put it on YouTube Kids, and I, played her little thing that she wanted to do. And I'm like doing dishes or something. And I can hear it. Um, and I hear it goes, you know how it auto plays like the next video? It'll keep auto.
Right, right.
And I hear like it's Mickey Mouse, it's Mickey's voice. Okay. And
Oh
then
Lord.
after I was done with the dishes, it'd only been maybe 15 minutes. I go in and I'm like, okay, mommy's done. Like, let's, hand me the iPad. Let's do something else. And I look down at the iPad. And even though what I heard sounded very benign and sounded like Mickey Mouse's voice, it was not. It
What
was
was it?
it was adult versions of Mickey and Minnie, and he was assaulting her on a subway. Like on a
Oh my gosh.
Yes, in cartoon form, physically assaulting her, like reaching his hand up her skirt and everything. But
Oh my gosh.
yes, so I remember this was back when Facebook Live was a big deal. This was like pre-RV trip. We're living in our old house. I remember going live on Facebook immediately. I probably still have the video. And I was like, okay, listen, parents. Like, not only do you have to be in the same room and listen to it, you have to look too. I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Oh my gosh. I would die. And like, luckily, you're thinking, hopefully, your little one, that's going right over their head. And
Right.
they're
Oh,
like,
right,
oh,
right.
Mickey Mouse, it's fun. Whereas you see, it's like how we all watched Grease as little kids and then watched it as adults, and we were like, good Lord.
Oh yeah, especially when my daughter started singing some of the songs, I was like, "Whoa, I watched that? Yikes." Okay, right.
As a
Well,
small child, I watched and sang those songs.
yeah, and she doesn't even remember it. I've asked her before. She doesn't, a blip on the radar for her. Doesn't even remember it. But
Oh my gosh.
you would think though that experience would have made me very anti-phone, anti-technology. But I actually gave Adelaide her first cell phone when she was 8 years old. I know, cue the gasps.
I'm clutching my pearls right now. How dare you? How dare you?
I know all the people listening were like, oh, they're gonna like stop listening because anyway. So, but it wasn't because
They're like, unsubscribe. 8 years old, you crazy thing.
So here is why. It wasn't because she had to text her friends or look at dance videos or make YouTubes. It was because at this point she was spending a lot of time at rehearsals. You can insert soccer practice, gymnastics, whatever, without Steve and I. And this particular theater is a community theater. There are all kinds of people coming in and out of that theater. I wanted her to be able to reach me if she needed to. An important thing for us, and this goes back to my law enforcement days. A lot of people would say, yeah, but she has instructors and teachers and directors, and she can always go to one of those adults and they can call you, right? Like, oh, well, at summer camp, if they need to get a hold of you, they can call you. Not if that adult is the problem, right? And I
Right.
did not want her to be dependent on some adult to get in touch with me if on the off chance that adult was who she had a problem with, right?
Well, and yeah, you're right. If she had a problem with that adult, or like, what if the adult is like, no, you don't need to call your mom, and she's like, no, I really do.
Right.
I mean, I get both ways because it's like, well, you put your kids in situations where you trust the situation. I always say this, like working at a school, when people talk about like trust with, I mean, a terrible topic here, but school shootings, stuff like that. And I'm like, you trust your school the same way you trust your school to take care of your kid in a tornado or a fire. You trust them to take care of your kid. So I
Yep.
think there is an aspect of you trust the adults, but you're right. What if and especially in your theater situation, like there could be people coming in and out. What if there's one that she's like, no, this is the problem right here, and I need to get hold of my mom.
Right. Right.
And it's not the phone itself that's the problem, right? It's not the phone.
Exactly. That's what my husband and I finally it dawned on us. We're like, wait a minute. A phone is not the issue. Her being able to call us or text us is not the problem. It's all the crap that goes on the phone, right? Social media, games with creepy chat features, unfiltered access to everything on the internet. Like that is the problem, not the phone itself. Um, and so before we got the phone, she did have an iPad and she was in a couple of like chats with like, a couple of like family, friends, kids. And then with theater, they do start when they cast a show, the cast usually likes to be in a chat. So she was in these chats on her iPad, but like she couldn't take her iPad with her, and that's cumbersome. And no one wants to be like, hey, let me call my mom. I got to get my iPad out. So we got her a pinwheel phone. Okay.
Okay.
I highly recommend this for any parent out there if you're thinking about this. It is the best thing on the planet because it basically is just communication. They can call or text, but there's a parent dashboard. They can't text anybody and they cannot receive any texts or phone calls unless those people have already been approved by you. So, like
Oh, I like that.
Verizon, how Verizon will send you a like junk text or like, welcome to Verizon. She couldn't even get those on her phone.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah. And then there are a few curated, like educational approved apps, but only if Pinwheel approves them because as kids get a little bit older, they do, like for theater, we use the Band app for every production from a kid's production to an adult production. That's how we communicate between the director, production staff, and the cast. And so she needed to have the Band app like on her phone, right? Once she
Right.
got to that age. So, um, but the iPad's awkward, and I know a lot of parents go the watch route, but that didn't work for Adelaide. They're not really good if they need you in a hurry, if they have to text you in a rush. Sometimes she wasn't wearing a watch because she's in a show. So that pinwheel like was a great first step. And here's the other unexpected thing it did that Steve is the one who pointed it out. Because her first phone wasn't any fun, it wasn't a fun phone. Like literally she
It's
could call
not
her.
fun.
But because of that, she never knew where her phone was, and she never was like got addicted to it. It was something she kept in the bottom of her theater bag. So she knew it was there if she needed to get in touch with us. I could track her on it, her location, right? I could text her. But I mean, we'd be in, it'd be a weekend and I'd be like, hey, where's your phone? She's like, I don't know, instead of, and Steve was like, this is really good because it's teaching her not to be obsessed with her phone,
Right.
with a phone. So, but
I'll
everyone's
tell you, my
different.
11-year-old daughter, well, Rue's begging for a phone right now, and it is purely to socialize. She has an iPad, so she can do all those things. But I was like, you can have a phone when you start doing your own stuff. Like, I work at your school. I take you to volleyball practice. I'm almost at all the Girl Scout sleepovers. If you need me, look up. I'm right there. Like, start doing your own stuff and you'll probably get a phone. But I will say one of the things that, excuse me, some of her friends right now some of her friends do have phones and they wanted to start texting at night. Part of me, I do like this because during the school year, there were some things about homework and stuff like that that they were communicating about or they would FaceTime about. And like, hey, did you get this one? Or we're working on this project together. That came in handy. She got on and she asked me permission. She got on an entire fifth grade group chat. And I'm telling you, it was terrifying. What they were talking about was fine. I mean, this is a bunch of Lutheran school kids, but her obsession with every time it dinged and how she was rushing to the phone, and I was like, and we're done. This is absolutely done. Nope, it's gone. And she's like, well, can I just stay talking to my like four friends on here? And she's allowed to do that like every so often. Maybe I was like, but no, the way you are like, it's constantly digging. Everyone's going off. The way she was running to the phone, I was like, nope, you're too young for that action. That's not
Yeah.
happening. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it is good. Like every family, every kid, every situation is different. Adelaide now, she's almost 12. We have since gotten rid of the pinwheel because there were certain things that she had been wanting to do or that we needed to do with theater, or she also wanted to start her own YouTube page. And there were just certain things that you couldn't do on a pinwheel phone. And, I'm sure parents listening to are like, oh my gosh, I would never let my kid have a YouTube page. But she loves it. It's her like creative outlet. And again, we're teaching her to be responsible with it. She knows like there's certain things you don't do, you don't put, you don't say, right? Um, but also we all had to have that conversation too with the text. So she doesn't have a bunch of friends at school that she's in a text. So she has like her little bestie chat, but her big thing is theater chats. Anytime they're in a show,
Hmm.
she's got like, the Godspell chat, the Emma chat. Now she's going to have the Something Rotten chat, the Frozen chat, the Aladdin chat. Like they're all these cast chats. And it was a lesson that we had to teach was like, hey, listen, this does not require instant replies, right? This is not instant gratification. Just because somebody texts you, you don't have to pick your phone up. Like you can pick and
Right.
choose when you respond. And that's even something I've had to learn, especially working from my phone. It took me a while
That
to
it
realize,
ding just because it ding doesn't mean you have to answer it right away.
yes, right. Just because somebody texts me or messages me, if I'm in the middle of something, I can do it later. So,
Which
um,
I'll say this is full disclosure, but I still stand by it. I still stand by it. And I can't remember if I brought this up in another episode or if you and I were just talking about this. That's how it's so hard to remember. Like, were Amy and I just talking or did we record that? Technology uh for the third kid is especially it's a babysitter. It really was. And I stand by it because and I remember feeling really nervous about this, but so Raleigh's our surprise baby. The kids are 5 and 8 years apart, I think. Yeah. They were 5 and 8 when we had Raleigh. So they're doing stuff. They're into sports. They're into things. They're doing all the things. Well, and then we introduced this brand new baby. And this brand new baby wants to be with big brother and big sister. He's obsessed with them. He wants to do everything they're doing. So we would go to a brother's basketball game, and Raleigh just wanted to be on the court, and he would scream and fight. And here I am, then I'm corralling this little one, whereas I miss the other kid. And I know some people are like, where's the father? I like a good naysayer. A lot of times, I'll tell you this, Chris, because I think this is so funny. He he's not an extrovert. He doesn't even like elaborate cheering at games.
yeah,
He's super quiet. He is always the first to volunteer if someone needs like a line judge at a volleyball game or someone needs a scorekeeper or something because then you can't cheer for either side, but he gets to
right.
watch it. So I love that he volunteers. The kids love that, but then I'm always stuck with the kid, with the little one. And so I would give Raleigh a phone. And he used to watch Hey Bear was his favorite one. It was this
Yeah,
cool thing. And I remember feeling all this guilt about it. I was like, oh my gosh, I have like a 4 month old on a phone. This is absolutely ridiculous. And one of the other moms saw me and she was like, don't worry. If you didn't do that, you'd miss your other kids.
mhm.
And I guarantee he's fine watching Hey Bear, but your other kids are emotionally seen like, oh wow, mom's not available because she's with the baby, or mom didn't see me because she's with the baby. Whereas instead, I was fully
Yeah,
present
the present.
for them because I gave this phone to the baby. So I realize that that's not like it's calling it a babysitter, but I don't have any regrets for doing that
I
with
love
Raleigh, and he fully now he's fully versed on the phone and his
Yeah,
iPad
well,
and all the
but
things.
you dropped the mom guilt and the mom shame that we carry around and can be really heavy. And kudos to that other mom saying something for you in the bronze medal mom way and not judging, right?
I agree. And you know what else? Raleigh, I actually have a video of this. By the time he was 12 months, he was not using all his words. Like he still can. Our joke was he knew the entire alphabet and he would line the alphabet up. And it was because he did these alphabet apps all the time on the
Yeah,
phone. He knew the whole alphabet. Couldn't tell us what was wrong because he didn't have a full vocabulary, but he knew the alphabet and he was great. So like he still, it wasn't like he's just watching YouTube. Like he was doing something. And I don't know, I just always kind of feel like we need to have grace in realizing like maybe those people that, we need to teach our kids how to act at a restaurant, but maybe that mom and dad need a break and they just need to give their kids an iPad at the restaurant and have an adult conversation, but they can't afford the babysitter too because they're also going to pay for the kids,
Yeah.
like we can't judge why other people are using these devices. It's just more, like you said, educating our kids on how to use them properly and how to use them safely, you
Yes.
know?
As much as we'd love to keep them in a bubble for all things in life, whether it be
Yeah,
technology.
I love a good bubble.
Yeah, I love a good bubble, but that's just not because on the flip side, you don't want to have a kid who gets older and emerges from the bubble and is completely clueless in terms of like life skills and
Right.
right. So I think it is, you know, introducing nobody knows your kid and your situation better than you. So that's first and foremost.
Sure.
Introducing them, like you said, in little bite-sized chunks based on where your kid is at. And then also, like, let's drop the shame and the guilt and also stop judging other parents and assuming we think we know it all, like you said. Like, don't assume that they're using it as a babysitter, or maybe they are that night, whatever it is. Because some parents need the tech tools for whether it's co parenting or safety or logistics. Others are holding that line as long as possible and they're not getting phones into high school because they see what screen time does to their kids, right? So I think here,
Right. There is definitely something to be said for holding off. And like we have a rule at our house in the summer that there's absolutely no devices until your room's cleaned, room's picked up. And then even then, it's not till like 10 or 11 a.m. You
yeah.
can't get on device. Like, no, you gotta do something creative. Figure out something on your time. Draw a picture, color, do a puzzle, something. You can go outside and play. Like you can figure out something else to do with your brain that is not just on your phone or on
Yeah,
your
I
iPad.
love that. Right. So you have like the best of both worlds. And, I have the same thing here. Now, Adelaide does have a YouTube page. We could do a whole separate episode on that because Steve and I both did a deep dive. Especially again, me being in law enforcement, like I said on the past episode, I assume everyone is a serial killer unless proven otherwise.
I've
And
totally adapted that to my life now. I'm always
yeah,
like, serial killer,
no,
serial killer.
and Steve is like, very non-trusting. There was an issue here in Houston a few years ago. Adelaide was like 18 months. Um, Long story short, somebody that worked at his company that was a PhD level geologist got arrested for uh, many, many bad things with a child. Him and his
Uh,
Yeah, him and his girlfriend actually. It was awful, awful. But that shook Steve to his core because
yeah, he probably was with them on the daily. He knew them.
yeah, and we actually used to hang out with him. We went to him and his wife's bachelor and bachelorette parties. This was way before Adelaide was born, but like they were in
Wow.
kind of our core dink group. We called it the dinks, double income, no kids. Um, anyway, that rocked Steve to his core, and I have known this again because working with cops, but I think a lot of people are in like the stranger danger. That's what they tell their kids. It's never the stranger, right? It's
Right.
never. It's the friend, it's the teacher, it's the coach, it's the church leader. So that shook Steve to his core. So he is even more like psycho about. So when he was like looking into letting Adelaide have a YouTube channel, I mean, you talk about doing the deep dive, nitty gritty, looking at all the things. So she
But I
has,
think that's it with like anything for parenting. If you're going to choose to allow your kids to do this, one, you're teaching responsibly, but you need to also be doing the work. Know that you're going to have to check. You're going to, like, my kids are really, they're into making these videos right now. And they were telling me they were posting them and they're not of them. They're just cartoon videos. And I was like, whoa, where are we posting them? But they're posting them literally their friends. So they're posting them to each other.
yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like,
Well,
okay, that's
well,
okay. And I made them both sit down and show me, like, show me what you're doing. Show me
right.
where it goes. Show me how
Well,
this works.
and it also lends the conversation too that I've had to have with Adelaide of heads up, anything you put out on the internet never goes away. Anything you put in a text, whether it's to your bestie boo or your group chat, They can screenshot it, they can save it. Like, you cannot go back and be like, oh, I didn't want to send that picture. Oh, I shouldn't have sent them that video. Oh, I shouldn't have said that about my friend to that other person. Um,
Right.
so there's definitely been a lot of, and I also tell her anything you put in a text, that other person's parent is reading. So heads up,
Mm-hmm.
because I will also, I'll just grab her phone and I'll start scrolling and reading text messages.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I definitely am not in the camp of privacy here in our house. Like, I'll let her have her time in her room. She's making her videos, but just because
No,
her phone
no
doesn't mean
privacy. No.
no, no. So anyway, I hope our listeners can see that, like, we definitely see both sides, and whatever side you fall on, the key is teaching your kiddo how to navigate it. Because sometimes it's not as clear as saying yes or no to a device. It's actually more about the conversations, the boundaries, the check-ins, the teaching, the learning.
And honestly, half time we don't know the best way to manage it all. We're out here Googling, like I said, doing the work, Googling, asking other moms, and making it up as we go, but that's okay.
Yes, and that's why we're bronze medal moms. We're not
Right.
we are not perfect. We are just showing up with good intentions and maybe some screen time limits.
So, everyone, let us know, what is your tech policy in your house? Phones at 8, phones at 18, TikTok, no, DM us on Instagram at Bronze Medal Moms or visit bronzemedalmoms.com.
And if you like this episode, share it with your favorite mom friend who is in the same do I give them a phone yet or wait spiral, because we see you.
Until next time, remember, bronze is a medal too.
Thanks for listening to our moms on Bronze Medal Moms. Don't forget to subscribe, share with your friends, and leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. See you soon.